Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace, friends. Ramadan Mubarak to all those celebrating. Thank you so much for your support of ING. We're here today only because of you. Why does ING exist? Well, because experts in the fields of politics and culture all agree that the most immediate solution to the extreme polarization in the country is dialogue and education about each other among diverse groups. In 1993, when we first started, ING's work in increasing Islamic literacy was relevant in the aftermath of the First Persian Gulf War. After 9/11, ING's work became urgent in the context of interfaith relations. And today, our work is necessary in the context of bigotry against all marginalized groups in America, the kind of bigotry that sometimes leads to genocide against entire groups of people, as we're sadly seeing in places like Myanmar and elsewhere. ING Speakers Bureaus and online curriculum are increasing both religious and cultural literacy while protecting the nation's values of religious freedom, pluralism, and equality, while preventing both hate and harm, not just against Muslim Americans, but against all marginalized groups.
You know, I learned about ING when the founder came to Cincinnati to present at Procter & Gamble, a Fortune 500 who's headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio. Subsequent to that, in lengthy inspirational conversations with her, I determined that it would be to both of our best interests if Islamic Center of Greater Cincinnati engaged with ING as a national Speakers Bureau. And Islamic Center of Greater Cincinnati has been one of its most active Speakers Bureau, reaching through the ING presentations and other ways over 100,000 people with its education and outreach work. The presentations of ING that have been leveraged are amazing. They go from healthcare to businesses to law enforcement to hospitals, as well as civic leaders. And I'm really excited about getting presentations out to the judicial community.
One of the reasons why we have invited a representative from the Islamic Networks Group to come and speak to our seventh graders is just the enormous benefits of the program. So one of them is that the person who comes and speaks to our kids is actually Muslim and can speak about the religion from their personal experience. And it makes the religion less abstract for the kids. I mean, as well as break down any stereotypes that our children might have about Muslims and the religion and even the politics.
And I'm a teacher at Woodside International High School in San Francisco. I recently contacted ING to set up a panel for my students. That panel was about creating inclusive and equitable communities to our students. I was most impressed with the competency of the panelists, as well as the depth and breadth of their knowledge. Our students were also impressed, as was I, with the work they did as a group and the appearance of a solid community working towards this end and the important work that they're doing. ING's work in the community is so important, and I want to thank them and commend them. At our school, we have an observant Muslim student, and I know how important this experience was for him, as well as the other students who attended.
I've seen firsthand the impact that ING speakers have had on my middle school students, and it is my wish that all middle schoolers could have access to the crucial education that ING offers around understanding and supporting Islam and actively fighting against racism and Islamophobia in our world.
I'm happy to provide this personal endorsement of the Islamic Network Group and their cultural sensitivity training. It was important to the Racial Equity Action Team that we partner with an organization that used education as a means to create understanding and inspire our employees to accommodate the unique needs of the diverse community. While it was important to us to find a partner who served the Muslim community, we were hoping to find someone who could broaden the focus beyond one religious group to include other marginalized communities so that we could apply the same principles to those individuals as well. The entire experience was inspirational. ING did an amazing job We will continue to work with ING as I am confident that they will continue to provide value in our work with racial equity and equity overall.
I'm Dan Jesse, and I'm a principal analyst at the Western Educational Equity Assistance Center in Denver, Colorado. We serve 13 states and 3 territories, and we work with school districts and schools and state departments of education, tribal education agencies, and other entities on issues of race, sex, national origin, and religion discrimination in K-12 schools. It was our lucky day when we ran into ING at a regional conference, saw some great presentations put on there by some of your staff, and we were really impressed and wanted to develop a partnership right away as soon as we saw those presentations, because there is such a need for accurate information about religious discrimination out there in K-12 settings, and ING is perfect for that particular task. I highly recommend ING if you can bring them into your school or your district setting. Their materials and activities are wonderful.
Hi, my name is Minister Peyton Silcat. I'm a community organizer with Faith in Action East Bay, and I run something called the Belong campaign in the East Bay area. When I reached out to ING, I really wanted to figure out how can we get rid of Islamophobia in our community. And they responded quickly with a lot of advice, and they also provided speakers in Sobia and Maha to come to the event and share expertly about their testimonies, their own life experiences, and break down some of the misconceptions of Islam. They also elaborated on the history of Islamophobia, and they wanted us to know that it existed well before 9/11 and how it has manifested today in contemporary times and how we still have so much work we need to do. I can tell it really impacted our community there, because afterwards I received text messages and calls about how to not only continue the conversation, but how to organize at a grassroots level in order to truly live out the call to live in solidarity with our Muslim neighbors.
I work on our department's diversity initiative, and I was tasked with generating some content for our monthly seminar focused on issues around diversity, equity, and inclusion within the healthcare setting and surgery in particular. I was referred to ING by one of my colleagues who had seen some of their work in another healthcare setting. I was really impressed with their knowledge and their professionalism. We ended up settling on 2 sessions. One was an introduction to Islam and issues and topics around Islamophobia. And then the second session was dedicated to caring for the Muslim patient and interacting with Muslim colleagues in a healthcare setting. And both of these seminars included a didactic component, which was truly expertly developed and delivered by Maha and Zach, as well as an interactive set of small group sessions where the attendants were broken out into small groups and then brought back to review the topics of discussion. Overall, the 2 sessions were incredibly warmly received, and I still get people complimenting the quality of the work, the informative nature of the presentations and the materials that ING delivered that accommodated that went along with them.
What have we learned? Well, we've learned that from doing the work of education and engagement, that the fate of Muslims in human rights is directly tied to the fate of other groups, Black, brown, and even white groups. The only way forward towards peace and the preservation of our democracy is by living out the value of a pluribus unum, out of many, one. Thank you for joining us in this important work in peace building. And if you're considering to join us, then know that your investment in the work of education and engagement makes a difference in the kind of world we want to live in and leave for our children. Thank you.